Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening everyone.
Alaikum salam.
Today we are here to discuss an important topic for our webinar today, that is business strategy mindset, adaptive strategy for tomorrow. Why this topic is important? As you all know, we are operating in an environment where change is no longer occasional. Previously it was occasionally the changes happened, but now it is now become constant. So how we can compete where market shift quickly, customer expectations evolve, and most importantly technology is reshaping itself. In this kind of world, strategy cannot be a static document. So today's session is about that mindset actually. And adaptive strategy is not about predicting the future perfectly. It is about being prepared to respond intelligently when future surprises us. So I encourage you all to listen actively, reflect your experiences and ideas by asking fruitful and relevant questions. As you know, today we have Mr. Zia Mustafa with us as our main speaker, who of course doesn't require any introduction as he is one of the most popular finance professional in the Middle East. Currently, he is serving as CFO for a medical equipment company Inaya in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He is also an important and active member of ICMA KSA branch council. I am also pleased to welcome our guest speaker for today's session, Mr. Ahmed Dawood, who is a seasoned CFO in Middle East market and has in-depth practical knowledge about process of business strategy. Welcome, sir. Welcome both of you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
now, without wasting the time, I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Zia Mustafa. Sir, stage is yours.
Hashim, thank you very much. Miss Hira, Shafiq, Intizar Hussain from our Global Linkage Academy, ICMAP Global. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Ahmed, for being our guest today. And our objective today is to take all of you through together the journey and the cycle and the challenges once we all do the business strategy document. Ahmed is a very good friend for last 10 plus years. Why I selected Ahmed? Because I have seen him in different conferences, seminars, finance summits. He has very in-depth knowledge in terms of strategy, and this is a topic which is very close to heart of both of us. So we said let's have a dialogue. We will be open to question and answer, and then we'll go to a real life case study in terms of a strategy document that one of my legal entity in my group has done recently. So how we will go through the whole session? uh, the first 1 hour will keep in terms of the framework, the baseline. It will be more of a dialogue with Ahmed Dawood, understanding the business strategy, how is it was in the past, how it is today, and how it's going to be in the future, challenges and the learnings together. So we'll have a dialogue. We'll keep opening time to time for every 25-30 minutes afterwards for question and answers. This is how we'll do the first 1 hour, and the second hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour, we'll keep for a real life case study as a strategy document done by a big 4 PwC recently. We'll take you through the real step as it is happened in the same year 2025. So this is the plan overall. Mr. Ahmed Daud, welcome again. Please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, my brother Zia, and thank you, Muhammad and Hira and the rest of the team. I don't want to forget any names. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Great, great. And just what a great opening for the session with the Quran. It's my first time to see this great opening. So thank you for the great opening as well. Hi everyone. I see on average 40 plus attendees to this session. I'm very pleased to be here. Thanks again for the invite. If you allow me, guys, to share one simple slide about myself, I think this will make it very simple. Uh, let me know if you see my screen.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I will make it very quickly. I promise that this will be the only slide I will have for the session today. So my name is Ahmed Dawood. I'm Egyptian. I have been through so many educational institutions within Egypt, multinational or international institutions. I have been through five organizations. Now there are six as well. So my current role is the CFO for Al Safi Danone in the Middle East, with the exception of North Africa or Africa. I have 12 countries to operate and manage from Gulf, Levant, Iraq, and a couple of other countries as well within the region. Before that, I spent 15 years with PepsiCo, 9 years with Novartis Pharmaceutical, Schlumberger Oilfield Services. I have done also some consulting job, banking, and some fancy roles. You see the photos when I was at the university and the schools as well. What I love to do, of course, is spending time with family, biking. I love teaching as well, and chess is one of my hobbies when I have time as well. So the purpose of this slide is not to focus on the upper part. What is very important on this slide is the lower part. Prior to PepsiCo, I spent good time to talk about or to manage organizations from business planning, costing control, management, accounting, tax, treasury, with PepsiCo, and recently with Danone, at Safi Danone. I'm currently the CFO. I have done also several CFO roles with the previous company as well. I spent some time also in corporate audit, learning how to audit big, medium size, and very much complicated structures as well. One simple advice here, which is the right bottom side of the slide, is it's very important, and this will help you a lot in building your own strategy as well. From each and every role you go through, it's very important to understand exactly what you need to get out from this role, whether it is function excellence, is it leadership, is it people, and so on. And this is exactly the way you need to focus on how to build your own strategy, as well as the business strategy that we will be discussing as we stand. Zia and Muhammad, if you allow me, can I ask questions, and for the group attendees to answer or to just write comments on the chat? Is this
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that we
sure,
can?
sure. We want to make this session, Ahmed, very interactive. Any way you would
Great.
like, we are open and we're very flexible in terms of the format.
Amazing, amazing. So before getting into the discussion on the strategy, I always mention this, and I'm sure that Zia have heard this before. I'm very much operational CFO, so I will not talk from ChatGPT. Will not talk from books. I will rely more heavily on the real life experience, if I would say. Uh, while I'm talking about the strategy, please share with us on the chat where exactly and how you are involved in your organization in the strategic slash planning process. So just write down one or two simple notes on your role in the organization when it comes to strategy and the planning. Let me go back. I'm close to 30 years experience in finance, as mentioned, and as you have seen in my intro slide. A strategy is something that is very much embedded in each and every organization. It makes a big difference where exactly you are within the organization and what is the size of the organization. The strategy differs a lot when we talk about corporate strategy, business unit strategy, and function strategy. And it's a very critical and important to understand each and every function role within this process. So let me take you back to the original traditional strategic process. So 10 years back, I think at that time I was with PepsiCo, and even before that with Novartis slash Schlumberger as well. The strategic process was very much heavy, long, lengthy process. And we used to have this process on annual basis. And it used to start from a very simple old style mission and vision. So what exactly you are doing now and where you want to be. And very critical tip here, in the old days, the strategy process used to be logged for 3 years, and we used to have some sort of annual reviews on the strategy. And some organizations used to have this for 5 years as well. And guess what? At that time, we used to be evaluated at the leadership team on how we are achieving our strategies, which is totally irrelevant as we stand on these days. So I used to I spent 15 years with PepsiCo, for example. Till the last 5 years, we used to spend almost 3 months every year to frame and update our strategies, which is again in sync with the vision and the mission of the organization. But recently we realized after we got BCG, McKinsey, all the consultants that we had also to look at the peer companies, how they are evaluating and adjusting their processes. And we found out the traditional way of doing the strategy can fit to some layers within the organizations. However, it is not anymore like the old days, because in the previous, we used to start with the mission and vision. We used to have the business strategy, which is across each and every business unit. For example, PepsiCo or Novartis, they used to have their corporate office and then 100 plus operating units across the group. And each and every operating units may contain or may include a couple of countries. So we used to have the countries, the strategies, and then this being consolidated into the business unit, or you name it, region, sector, whatever cluster. And then this goes all the way up to the corporate level. So we used to start with analyzing the current performance, unless it is a new company or a new operation or greenfield business, if I would say. So we used to start with the current analysis of the environmental analysis, how we are operating, how competition is operating, what are the new sort of categories within the countries where we operate. And then we start with our share. Where are we in terms of share performance? And then where do we want to be in 2-3 years? How much share or what is the share levels that we want to reach in 2-3 years? And everything goes after that. So we start with environmental analysis to make it very simple. Where are we as we stand? Very much a deep analysis on all environmental analysis, social and so on, legal status and so on. And then we move to the aspirations. And then we reach to the top line, how we want to frame the top line in the coming 3 years. This was very much the process of the strategy. My role as a CFO at that time, I was sitting at the back of the meeting room, just trying to observe each and every function. So after starting with the market analysis, we go to the top line. Once the top line is determined, we need to grow, for example, 10% and 12%, and then another 8% in 3 years. So everyone within the table, across the table, start to work. So the sales function starts to build up the bottom up SKUs and the brands assumptions for the 3 years. And then it goes to the operations manufacturing team, HR, they start to build their own headcount expansion process for locations, distribution centers, functional head office, and so on and so forth. And I keep on observing. And every now and then, during the process, during the 3 months, I used to give some sort of signals to 2 important functions, to my CEO and to my regional CFO or the corporate CFO where I do operate. So this happens in the big organizations. In the small organizations, it is totally different, because there is some sort of one entity and then the board. So we used to give signals to the board as we stand. Al Safi Danone, for example, has a board which consists of the Faisalia Group as well as the Danone International Company. So this is how it goes. I used to give signals over the 3-month period of the strategy. Mr. CEO, take care. Your functions are very much exaggerating in the way they go with the strategy. For example, in order for the sales VP to grow, he's requesting for expansion of 20% of his sales force as well as trucks, distribution centers, and so on, while he's only growing at 10-12% average figure for the 3 years. So we start to give early signals in order not to get logged at the end of the process and go back to square zero the initial process. So, which takes me to the role of the CFO and the finance function. So, if you can tell me in the chat, how do you see the role of the finance function slash CFOs in the process? The role of the CFOs is becoming very critical, and it used to be very critical as well. Don't ever think that the CEO is the one who is coordinating the process. The process is being coordinated by finance slash CFOs. The reason why I'm saying so, the strategy, as I mentioned a couple of minutes back, is where you want to be, is how you want to go with the vision. In order to do that, you need to understand exactly how you will reach it there from operational. But all what we are doing as organizations has one main ultimate objective, is to maximize shareholders' value. So strategy is, in a very simple way, is taking your mission and vision into some sort of framework, very much detailed plan, in order to be able to reach there on the operational aspects. But you know what? If you only achieve the operational and the commercial KPIs without achieving the right real value to shareholders, you will be failing. So that's why it is not the CEO. And from the close to 30 years experience, I have to admit, I hope that we don't have in the attendees people from other functions. We are all finance together.
No,
Most
no,
of
we are
the
all
other,
finance people.
Alhamdulillah, that's great. With my all respect to all other commercial operations, HR people, all other functions are very greedy. They are very greedy. The sales guy, he wants to sell. The marketeer wants to have the best campaign ever. But who is being blamed at the end if you don't achieve the shareholder value? It's us. It's this group. It's the CFOs within the region. So it's very critical to understand that the process coordination will never succeed if you just achieve the top line without understanding the implications on bottom line as well as the value to shareholders. So I just wanted to make sure that this is very critical and very important point. Are we getting any responses?
Yes, Ahmed, some people have started putting response. So I think in next 2-3 minutes we'll have more responses here.
Great. And I will be more than happy to have some sort of interactions with Zia and team. And please also stop me if we found any sort of comments from the team as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is it on the traditional process. Very important also point to understand. I mentioned when I started the discussion on it's a very important to understand where you are within the organization. Is it a very much big corporate organization? Are you at the corporate office? Or are you at the business unit level, or are you at a functional level? Because the strategy differs a lot when you are at different levels within the organizations. One important other dimension is the type of organization. So my strategy execution or my strategy process slash framework in a company like Novartis PepsiCo was totally different than where I am now. Because where I am now is a joint venture between two big giants, two big organizations, and the board style has a very big impact on the strategy process as well, the strategy framework in the organization. So what does this mean? In PepsiCo, for example, we used to have very much detailed, deep governance process when it comes to planning, control, governance, strategy as well. And this used to be managed and monitored by the Security Exchange Commission of New York or whatever, NASDAQ, and so on and so forth. In my current organization, the board style has a very big implications on the strategy process, which means the style of the shareholders and the shareholders' representatives has a very big impact on how we look at our strategy. Sometimes, and I'm sure that you can relate, some of the attendees can relate as well. Sometimes organizations and the owners and the shareholders doesn't care about the details of what you plan. They come and tell you after talking about your strategy for 2-3 hours or even one day, okay, tell me what does this mean from bottom line? How much I will be getting at my pocket end of each and every year and so on. So it's very critical and very important for you as finance professionals to understand the style of your organization and how the board is appreciating the value of what you are doing in terms of coordinating the strategy. Why I'm saying so? Because at PepsiCo, we used to have, as mentioned, every year 3 months talking about the strategy. I cannot apply this in the organization I have now, or a mid-level organization or a small-level organization. So it's very important for you to understand that the process differs. The way you handle the strategy process is very critical when you talk about traditional process. Now let me move to into more details about the strategy process development as well and evolution. The strategy process used to be very much a static process, a static annual process. We used to have, again, share performance reviews, competitive analysis reviews, where we need to be in the coming 3 years from share, market share, growth, and so on and so forth. Now, the process has become very different and very or much more dynamic. And some people, if you go and to ChatGPT, they will talk about adaptive strategic planning process. Regardless of all the names that we have, that we can see from ChatGPTs, from people and so on, the strategy process has become very much dynamic. We cannot now rely on one annual process that you spend 3 months, because during the 3 months, you may get a new variable that will impact the process itself. So the process of strategy, the strategic process now has really moved to a totally different era, which is something that has to be very much movable with you. During the strategy process discussions, during even the board, I used to get a new news about wars, conflict in the region, and so on and so forth, which has implications on what I'm doing as we stand. What is happening as we stand? That the strategic process started to move from one deep, detailed exercise into so many dynamic exercises. So we started not to talk about one full detailed strategy process in the board. We started to talk about the strategy, for example, in Q1, between Q1 Q2, and during the 2 or 3 boards over the year, we started to do some sort of updates on what will be the implications on what is the new laws and regulations. For example, sugar tax was just implemented a couple of weeks back. We heard about it, that it will be effective Jan. The dynamics between countries within GCC, even the extended war between China, Ukraine, the conflict in the region, in Palestine, and so on. All of these changes and dynamics started to have implications, which has a very much impact on the process. So in a very much a simple way, we turned the very much detailed, deep process of a strategy, annual process, into so many simple, small exercises that are being consolidated at the end during our board discussions every and each quarter. So we don't do it once in the first quarter and just go and meet, okay, guys, see you inshallah next year. No, it is not becoming like that. Every board started to have some sort of touch base on what is happening in terms of strategy and the implications on your process, which means that the current strategic process started to have more reliance on the annual operating plans of the organization. So listen to that. We are currently, last couple of years, we are moving from a deep, detailed strategic process into heavy reliance on the annual operating plans and adjusting our 3 years visions as well. Technology has really impacted our strategic thinking as well. So, for example, if you remember this BlackBerry, no one knows now what is BlackBerry. BlackBerry has collapsed in less than 2 years because they were not able to adapt and cope with the changes on the smartphones. What is happening in the current dynamics? Because I work in fast moving goods. I was ex-PepsiCo and now I'm with Danone. What is happening, for example, in the go-to-market dynamics in the GCC is becoming crazy. For example, the e-commerce channels are becoming really very much more than double-digit growth and double growth every year. So what does this mean for the big players, for Panda, for Authame, for even Carrefour? So and within even the big channels. For example, Carrefour is not able to cope with the local players as well. So this has a very big implications on our strategies as fast-moving goods companies as well. So in a nutshell, there is a very big move and focus into short-term, simple exercises as opposed to big, very much titled strategy process and the strategy framework and so on. So let me step back and do some sort of comparisons. In the past, we used to focus a lot on the mission and vision. We used to focus a lot on where exactly we want to be in the coming 3 years. We used to do some sort of environmental analysis. This used to be also done or used to be happen every year. Now the environmental analysis can be done every quarter and even every month. We used to rely heavily on the annual operating plans, AOPs, budgets, annual budgets, as opposed to having some sort of reliance on annual strategic plans. Short-term versus long-term objectives and visions. We started even to go back as the management of the company because the strategy used to be approved from the shareholders or the corporate offices in big organizations. We used to have some sort of manage up of the strategy process. We used to tell them, guys, ladies, gentlemen, the 3 years plan that you have put 5 years back or the 5 years plan is not valid anymore. You have to think about different dynamics. And instead of having a top-down strategy implementation from corporate boards into the business units, it started to be some sort of bottom-up process as well. We used to have a lot of feed up into the process. So this was not the case in the past. And remember the first important point I mentioned. We used to be evaluated as a management team and leadership team on how we are adhering to the 3 years strat plan. Now we are being evaluated on how we are giving signals, giving updates on the environments where we are operating as we stand. That's exactly what I mean with traditional versus adaptive dynamic strategy implementation. So this will take me to the third important point that I also mentioned in the previous point. What is our role as finance functions? Did we get any replies from the team?
Yes, Ahmed, we have few questions. Once you finish, then we'll spend around 10 to 15 minutes. We'll bring them to the stage. They will ask question and we'll interact with them. We have input from the team now.
Okay. So let's read this in the coming 10-15 minutes to your point. As mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, our roles is to coordinate. It will never be the CEO, HR, sales, commercial team who will be coordinating the process. You are the coordinator. The CFOs, financial planning, finance managers, you name it, we are the coordinators. The reason why, remember this point, we will coordinate because the ultimate objective is to have shareholders' value for the organization.
Yes.
The commercial guy will never be able to assess and drive the organization into the shareholder value of the organization. Which take me to the very important, close to last point of this discussion. So what does this mean for me as a finance professional when we talk about the strategy, being involved in a strategy? It is very much depends on how you decide in this room, in this webinar, and outside of this webinar as a finance professionals to manage the process. Will you be able to manage it in a very much a traditional way? You will be just laying back and waiting for the marketing team and sales team to work together and give you the top line assumptions, and then take this into the operations and factory team in order to assess the capacity and capex needed, and then HR for the headcount, or you will be involved in the early stages on how to challenge the top line assumptions. We as CFOs are becoming a very much integral part of the organization. But guess what? You will get a lot of pushbacks. No, this is not your area. You need to wait for us and get the final product and then tell us what does this mean from financial P&L cash flow standpoint. My simple answer to everyone in this room, this is not the way it is being handled. And again, it is your decision to handle the strategy process as an integral part partner, as opposed to someone who is taking the notes and do the math on Excel sheet and tell them, you know what, all what you have done is giving me X profit and Y cash flow. The reason why I'm saying it depends on your decision on how to handle this process, because guess what? Who will be the first one who will be blamed if you don't achieve the shareholders' value? It will not be the CEO. The CFO will be the one who will be judged on the shareholders' value. Shareholders' value will never come only from sales or false sales or less quality sales, if I would say. It will never come from a very much weak marketing campaign. It will never come from a very much weak decision on spending capex that will not have proper ROI in the right payback period as well. So that's why your involvement in the process and the way you handle the process is very critical and very important, and a very key determinant of the quality of you as a financial professional and CFO as well. So I covered the most of what I wanted to say. There is also another important point when I mentioned that we need to move from traditional into more adaptive process. It's very important for you also as a finance professional to understand and to know how you will be able to do two important things in the way you handle your strategy process. The first important point, it's very important to see and have proper discipline in order to ensure that what you have set as a strategy is being executed on ground. You will find so many finance function has turned to be finance/transformation offices, where they have the transformation lead under them in order to manage the execution, which is again what we call from a strategy to execution. So it's very important to assess the quality of the strategy you put to your organization and make sure it is happening as per desired. And it's very important also to make sure that you're having early signals to very much critical financial performance as well in relation to your strategy as well, which will come through a very important critical monitoring activities in your organization. So setting the strategy is a very much important thing. Being a very much integral partner, coordinator for the process, trying to understand the dynamics and how they put the assumptions for top line, middle line, and bottom line is very critical. Assessing the quality of the process is very important. Having a strong discipline when we talk about strategy to execution is very critical. Having the right monitoring of the KPIs is a very important aspect of how you put a strategy and how you assess yourself, and that the board shareholders assess you as quality and dynamic CFO as well. There is also another important dynamic which will take me to the traditional way of doing strategy. But again, this applies to the strategy as well as to the traditional and dynamic process. To my previous point, I mentioned you need to understand exactly at which level you are in the organization. When you decide the level where you are, you will be able to decide on the business, corporate, and functional strategy of the organization. So what does this mean? In the big organizations, it is very much disciplined. So at the business unit, you know exactly your scope of strategy execution. They give you a specific place or frame to work against. For example, when I used to be the CFO of PepsiCo for this region, I never been able to decide on what would be the financing and funding strategy. So I used to be to go back to the corporate treasury team, and they used to decide on my behalf. But me as a CFO and my function used to give signals to them. When I move to a different, more flexible organization, it's very critical and important for you to understand that you are playing in the smaller organizations much bigger roles versus heavy structured government organizations. So that's why you need to understand what is the business strategy, what are the financing strategy and alternatives that you have within the organization, even within functions. It's very important for you as a CFO to try to also argue, dispute It challenged the other functions. I will give you a very simple practical example and case that I had. As we stand within my organization, and this was totally different than the previous organization as well. I used to have a very much slimmer role when it comes to investments. One of the leadership team members at the XCOM came to me that I want to invest in this brand, so in this category. And this category is showing the high double-digit growth last couple of years. And there is also Nielsen is telling us that there are some sort of higher growth aspirations with his other brands. And he came to me with a capex of 40, 50 million reals that has to be spent in order for us to capture a big share of that. So don't limit yourself with these discussions. Try to understand what are the alternatives for you as a CFO to introduce this a new category without spending money. So he was very much close-minded into I need 50 million to spend here. And the category was very much common across the region. So I started to ask some colleagues, friends, and so on. Talk to them about the category as well. And guess what? I found out that there is a very much plenty production capability and capacity within the region itself. So don't limit yourself with the discussion on, in order for you to get into this category, I need to spend the money myself. Assess competition. Assess what are other partners within the region. So I found out that there is a company, I don't want to mention names, in Dubai, for example, in UAE, it's close to Dubai, that they have lines that are 30% utilization. So they still have 70% utilization. So I don't need to spend 50 million riyals on that. So what I'm trying to say, if you remember the statement I mentioned, everyone in his function will be greedy to achieve his own KPIs. Because the operations guy, I'm not talking about the people now, I'm talking about concepts, will always be happy to expand his manufacturing footprint in order to manage a bigger operation. But who will balance that? It's you as the CFO. Because you know exactly the implications of spending 50 million and not getting the desired ROI in 3 years or 5 years or 2 years and so on, payback and so on. So these are the areas where I just wanted to give you some sort of highlight. You are not gatekeepers for the process. You are coordinating it. You are partnering it. You are also challenging the commercial and operational KPIs and dynamics. So let me stop here. I'm a bit cautious of time. Should we take the questions, Zia and team?
Yes, Ahmed. Now, please, anyone who has any question, please raise your hand. So Shafiq will bring you to the stage and we'll have interactive discussion. Ahmed, just one thing. I think you have said it very wisely. Finance is playing a very critical role here in terms of protecting the shareholders' value. The
Yeah.
production guy, the sales and marketing guy would like to increase the top line, would like to increase the market share, would like to increase his dominance in the market. But normally, most of the board advise like you come up with your initiatives, but what is that resulting in shareholders' value at the end? And finance is the custodian. If finance, after doing all the number crunching, aligning with the partner and the XCOM meeting, if that is making a sense, that goes ahead. Otherwise. So this is very important. All of us, we need to understand. CEO will be sitting there. That is why you all senior finance leaders are called as finance business partner. You will work on his behalf, align with him. He will give you the guideline how look like the future, but you need to make sure all the initiatives, all the new project, all the expansion, whatever capex needed must result the shareholder value. That is the given bottom line. I think this role was there in the past, this is today, and this is not going to change in the future. Finance is the custodian for the shareholders value. This is very important message.
Yeah, 100% Zia. Great,
Yes.
great point.
Yes, Zishan, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and go ahead, Zishan.
Yes, thank you very much, Zia, and our guest speaker. You well defined the strategy. Basically, in our organization, we previously worked with the McKinsey and now with the BCG. In McKinsey, we worked with the bottom-up approach, basically. But it was really complicated to the partners like operation and sales and the marketing teams, because for each initiative we need to create the finance value. But now with the BCG, we changed the strategy. There is a top approach where we build the target. We need to achieve the target. And then with the each division, we are giving them, like operation, we have given them some target. Sales, we have some target. So on the target level, finance is monitoring the overall performance. That I think that is working good. But I, as a personally, because I worked on both approaches, previous approach was much better because finance was involved in each activity, and it was moving to the whether it is profitable or giving us the present value or future value of the project. But that was really complicated for the operational people because they are fed up with the finance feedback and these things. Sometimes finance people are not understanding the complete process of the financials. So that is my comments only, or if you have something to say here, so please.
No, thank you, Dishan. So great comment, and it gives some sort of good examples on two methods. The only point I wanted to mention on the two methods you have mentioned here is you need also as a finance lead to assess the implications of the impact of the two styles, if I would say. If it is top down, just be mindful of the potential impact on functions in terms of ownership, the sense of ownership, who usually tend to be less owners when it comes from the top. But at the end, and again, this is not a rule. If you have respectful board, if you have strong leaders, they will not fire you because you don't achieve the top-down numbers. They will consider the maximum you are doing, as long as, I'm repeating myself, as long as you are winning in the market on commercial, operation, and financial perspectives. So I want to repeat this again. Whether it is top-down or functional bottom-up, it's very critical to understand the implications on the ownership of the process, the ownership on the commercial team, because I need this, I see this every day. So we go with, let's say, 8% growth top line compared to the competition, they are growing 3 to 5%. But at the end, if the target is cascaded down from the group or the board is 10%, the end up result for us that we didn't achieve the plan. But make sure that you as a finance lead give signals on individual basis or during the board on the potential implications on the ExCom team as a result of not achieving stretched target. This is very critical and very important, Zishan. I hope that you got and everyone got this message.
I think, Ahmed, this is very important because as a finance, our role is to give visibility, to show us the different sensitivity analysis, the different kind of situations where we can end up if things are
Yes.
not going right, and if things are going right, even that scenario where we would hit. So our objective is to show them the sensitivity analysis and where we are heading with any change which is happening towards the strategy change.
100%. And even Zia, sometimes using our powerful analysis as CFOs, we used to change the bonus scheme and long-term incentive scheme for the management. So we tell them, yes, we didn't achieve our strategy that was put 2 years back, but you know what? With these conditions, with the high cost of supply chain, with the conflict in the region, with the new competition, with the challenged prices and promotions, we were able to grow high single digit. We were able to get more or less the same financial targets and financial margins, gain share, despite the fact that we didn't achieve the number that you put for us. So it's very important to use your link or to link the dots in order to show the reality versus aspirations as well.
100% right. This is absolutely right. Yes, Abdul Rahman.
Yes,
Please go ahead, Abdul Rahman.
I think Mr. Farhan Kamar is already unmute. So
Okay, Farhan.
give
Farhan,
him
go ahead.
chance first. Mr. Farhan Kamar, please.
Yes, thank you very much for letting me join the discussion. I just have a point to add. I think probably the presenters will agree with this one. I think the one very important quality for the modern CFO is to be able to speak a common language. Basically, once Zishan has just pointed out that the other departments getting fed up with all these present values and future values. But if you are
Yeah.
able to communicate these things in a language that they understand as well, so I think it makes you very valuable because, you can avoid certain conflicts and then you can add a proper value to the whole organization strategy that well. So this is just a brief comment, but I think it's very, very important skill for a modern CFO to have.
I think Farhan, you said it very well,
Yeah.
and because this is our
If you allow
responsibility.
me,
Yes, Ahmed, go ahead. Ahmed, please go ahead.
no, Mr. Farhan mentioned a great point. I just
Yes.
mentioned now. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah. So Farhan
Hmm.
mentioned a great point. And what is very important also hand to hand with the common language you mentioned, Farhan, is to be the trusted partner in the organization.
Hmm.
So they will listen to to your language. They will accept the common language point you just mentioned
Hmm.
if they feel that you are really adding value to them and supporting them to achieve what you want to achieve as a team. I like what you just mentioned now. A great point.
Yes, and Ahmed, I think it is our responsibilities as the finance lead. Like we need to sit together with our business leaders, with the XCOM members and the leadership team. We need to translate the technical terms and the jargons into easier words they can understand. What net present value
Yes.
means for them, giving them from real life examples. So I learned this from one of seasoned CFO, Ahmed, like yourself. He says, whichever the organization I had joined after every 4 or 5 years in my career, within the first 3 months, I used to do one training finance for non-finance executive. From there, he said, I used to judge where they stand, my leadership team, my core executive team, XCOM team, where do they stand? And then I used to develop my communication accordingly, knowing Ahmed has this much level in terms of knowing finance. He knows what net present value is. He knows what internal rate of return is, because sometimes these marketing head and the sales head, they have MBAs as well, they have some background. So
Yes.
once you know the other partner, your other department heads, where do they stand, then you position accordingly. And we finance, because once you know your subject, when you know any particular topic, net present value, any
Yes.
topic, then it is the beauty how easily and how simply you can explain it to your other partner, and this is our responsibility.
Yes. Yes. Great point. I have any other comments or questions?
Yeah, we have 2 3 people in the pipeline. Yes, Abdul Rahman now. Mohammed Imran, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Mr. Imran, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. You are not audible.
Okay, let's go next. Imran, you check your connectivity and signals and we'll get back to you again. Who else is Hashim next?
I think we don't have any more hands.
Yes. Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Yes,
Imran, go
yes,
ahead.
Imran
Yes.
bhai, please.
Yes. Basically, a lot of companies in typically SMEs are struggles for established sales, okay, and sales trend. And total strategy is based on top line, okay. If you have a no business intelligence, if you have a no numbers, you have a no right numbers from your who is going to forecast, okay. Obviously, this is not job of the CFO. This is job of the business development team. Okay, whole strategy. Okay, what is this strategy? That is Excel file at the end. Okay, numbers. What numbers are going to say? So over once we make this strategy, we are totally depends on our business development numbers. And I think 99% typically, I don't know now other countries, typically in Saudi Arabia, business development team or sales manager, whatever the structure is there, who is the leader, they don't know about that until there is established corporate setups. Okay, obviously, which is established based on the history, or might be they have a no competition or something food items. Okay, so our total strategy is dependent on that. Okay, So typically getting, okay, first you are not getting the any input info, business intelligence from your say business development team. Then what is the source? You have to do, CFO is supposed to do something, or they have to verify their numbers. I saw many big companies there. Okay, business development teams giving the old fake numbers for new management teams. Okay. So what is the knowledge hub there? What is the business intelligence in Middle East, typically in Saudi Arabia, a growing economy is there for manufacturers, for other businesses? You can please share that. Like a SIDF, what is the role of SIDF? What is the business intelligence reports? Okay, but we go for like a Western reports, but they have some good numbers. But again, that is a big main challenge. Okay, okay, and I saw in big companies, Al Raji groups also. Okay, they give the budgets, team give the budgets, and every budget is not being achieved. Okay, in group of companies. Okay, so
Right.
yeah, there are realistic numbers, intelligence, knowledge hub, and what is role of SIDF there?
No, you are raising a very good point and also very challenging point when we talk about annual operating plans and the strategies. In order to understand you well, Muhammad Imran, you talk about, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, huh? So
Muhammad
you're
Imran, yeah.
asking about for how the top line assumptions are being vetted and being tested or assessed, right?
Yeah.
Great. So this is a very important point. And when we talk about it, it's very important to be clear on a couple of important things. Are you talking about a very much a new product that is not in the market, or a new service, or you are talking about something that is available in the market, and you are coming in as a new competition? So we have couple of ways to do that, and the CFO has a very much a critical role to play here. For example, if we have a new product to launch, we go talk to other markets, similar markets to us. Because, for example, if you talk about the yogurt business, for example, yogurt business, if you assess the countries where Danone is operating, you have mature countries, emerging countries in the area of yogurt. So, and try to simulate the same example on other products or services as well. So we tell them, guys, when you launched this new yogurt, for example, with probiotics, for example, what was the trend? So who has adopted this? Who has shifted from the traditional set yogurt into this one? And we start to do some sort of simulations in our markets in order also to capture the local consumer preferences. We do a very important also product tasting as well. We talk to consumers. We assess it this way. And by the way, Muhammad, this is very expensive and time consuming. And sometimes it is also misleading. So sometimes when the marketing team and the operations team comes to me with a proposal or capex to buy new capex for the new product, I get, sorry, very bad assumptions for the growth in order for them to go and launch this product. So it's a very my advice to you: use references, do some sort of assessments, try to talk to consumers in the region/country where you operate in order to
But
get the
local
numbers.
references are available. That is the question. Okay, if we go for like other markets, so what any data center knowledge hub for local references for making these
So there are very
strategies?
much common names. I don't want to promote specific names, but for example, Nielsen. Nielsen is one of the very much common institutions in this area. But I will be very honest with you, they are very much expensive as well. There are
In the
also a couple of
FMCG
names
business, like in the FMCG business, Nelson is very well known.
very well known in exact. You will find same in automotives, in
Yes.
services, in each and every business. You will find big names. You can also what we have done recently as well in small businesses, not the current business I have. We started to develop vendors. We started to develop them to go and to do some sort of sensing for a new product, and they used not to have this service in place. So think about it as well. So there are so many small, medium-sized companies in the region. If you go and let them know how to do some sort of sensing, talk to consumers, they will do it for you at a much more cheaper prices. My only last advice, I'm Imran here, don't use as a CFO, as a finance professional, don't rely on one single source assumption. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
important to validate the assumptions through 2 or 3 other important methods as well.
yeah,
That's my only advice to you.
yes. Thank you. What is the role of in manufacturing about like a knowledge hub, Saudi Industrial Development Fund or something other any governmental institution? Is there any role about business intelligence for industry people, for
Look,
industry leaders like?
the Saudi Investment Development Fund, they take your business case and they assess it. In my example with them,
Yeah,
I hardly get insights and data from them. There are people within these institutions who can help us, but so far, as we stand, it was some sort of sharing with them business case for them to approve or not to approve it at my end as well. So it was not like, or I think it is getting developed, if I would say, but it is not as developed as we want to have, like what you just mentioned now. It is taking some time from them.
yeah, like the case
On the other hand,
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
please go ahead.
Like you
Go ahead,
you
Ahmed.
shared like one investment case, like somebody want to invest 40 to 50 million, and in that case, if SIDF is not approving, it means that is a negative. Okay, so there is a overcapacity or already capacity available in the market. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I
Thank you,
think,
Ibrahim
Imran,
sir.
yes,
Thank you
your
very
point
much.
is right. I also have recently
I
worked.
think also
Yes.
it depends on.
Yes, Ahmed, go ahead.
Go ahead, Z. One last point. It will also depend, if you talk about SIDF, it will depend on their previous experience in the industry or not. If they have previous experience in the same industry that you are talking to them now, it will be much more easier for them to decide and support you with data and insights as opposed to a very much a new different industry. Sorry, Zia, go ahead.
Yes. So recently, Imran, we interacted with the SADF, and we are in currently I'm in the healthcare sector. We are in the healthcare consumable. Ahmed, I recently came to know when I joined Anaya that healthcare also has consumable sector. Well,
Yes,
otherwise,
yes.
FMCG we know, but healthcare has a consumable sector, which we'll discuss in the second part. So you can interact with the SADF. SADF is getting mature with the passage of time. We took one loan from them around 200 million in 2018 when we were building the Mars Kike factory in King Abdullah Economic City. They are a bit slow, but they have industry specific people. Recently, 2 weeks ago, they were in our office and we were discussing a business case. Now they have people with them who are MBA in healthcare management, and they
Yes.
are the one who are assessing the business case. So slowly and gradually they are getting mature with the time. The only one challenge, Imran, sometime with them is you have a project coming in next 6 months to 1 year. Sometimes their pace still is bit on the slow side. So what some companies are doing, they're taking some loans for maybe 6 months, 1 year from other banks, and then they take later on from SIDF if your project is very good, and then they bridge the loan in between. So this is what many companies are doing recently in the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me add, Zia bhai,
Yes.
let me add one more thing about the SIDF. Now they have a separate department for the consultation also. Those who are their clients, they are supporting them to assess their business and identify the weaknesses and offer them for the consultancy to overcome those weaknesses of their organization to grow.
Very
So
good.
SIDF is playing a good role in the growth of the organizations right now.
100%. And as we all discussed, like we are in a Middle East market, this market is getting mature. It's not as mature like the Western economies, like the Europe and the US. But since last 6, 7 years, especially after 2017, the speed and the pace and the changes, the way it's happening, this market will catch up very soon.
Yes. That's what I also see in our last 2 years discussion with institutions like SIDF. The
Uh-huh.
progress development is really, really massive and very quick.
Yes. One more thing they have, Ahmed, is also they also have some sector prioritize, which as per the Vision 2030. Like yes, we are in the export business as well at the moment. My current organization is in the export business. So, for example, they have a portfolio of 10 billion. 10 billion Saudi Riyal, which they can fund in year 2025. Then they prioritize the sector. And then within the sector, see if it is our money, we will put on those projects which are less risky or higher return. Because we
Yes.
want to give money to someone to give as a loan, as a debt, but we want the money back as well. So first of all, they have some sectors. They go with the exporters first. Then they have healthcare sector also as one of the priority among their sector. Entertainment is one of their priority. If your sector comes within the priority and your numbers are good and your ranking of the credentials is good, NPV IRR is good, risk appetite is bit on the low side, so they will work on it. Sometime just be cautious on the speed part. Have another banker or your financer being ready as a backup plan. God forbid if it get late, so you have a backup plan there as well.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, who else is there? I think there were one or
I
two more
think
names. Amar Bhatt was there.
I think Zia bhai move for the second part, so we can take all the question at the end for 15
Okay.
to 20 minutes because
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are a lot of question in Q&A, so that will be asked at the end of the session, inshallah.
Fine. So now this is where I think Ahmed has set a very good tone in terms of where we stand, how the organization has moved. Some bigger organization, as Ahmed said, PepsiCo, although he was the CFO, but the treasury strategy was being done at the corporate level. Okay, maybe at that time it was based in UAE. When I was working with Mars and L'Oreal, some of the corporate strategies was done in the UAE, not in KSA market. So you need to see the type of the organization you are into. If it is very well governed, if it has a different headquarter in different region, so the organization has their own delegation of authority metric. So it goes accordingly. For example, like maybe as Ahmed said, Safi Danoon, you are in an organization where the board is more empowered. The organization culture is like that, the board is more into it. But if you are working with PepsiCo, yes, within your role, you have a lot of flexibility because you have a very stronger internal control mechanism. But on the other side, you need to see maybe the headquarter in terms of treasury is sitting somewhere else. The capex approval beyond a certain limit may not be within the board. It may have a board approval, then may it go to a regional board or to the joint venture partner. We have recently seen some major capex are even beyond the scope of the board, and it goes to the shareholders meeting and it goes to the joint venture partner, and this is how it get approved. Now maybe in the next 30 minutes we'll go through a quickly a real life business strategy. Ahmed, whatever the Ahmed has added the input, you will see that in the real life. So it is a business strategy done in September 2025 for one of a business unit which is in the healthcare sector, done in Saudi Arabia, and PwC was one of the partner. And then this is the final shape how it was being presented to the board for the alignment purpose. So let me show it to you. Okay, Hashim, is my screen visible?
It is visible, Zia.
Okay, so let's see. This is for one of my business unit. We recently have done a 5-year strategy. Strategies, as Ahmed said, now the way the things are changing and the speed of the change, you cannot build a strategy for next 7 or 10 years. There were times. I remember in 1990, I saw one strategy document which was for 10 years, but no more. In year 2025, the way things are happening, normally most of the organizations are revisiting and updating strategies at least on half yearly basis. Some of the organization I know they do on quarterly basis as well, but this is too much I think for a strategy document for next 5-year business plan. Most of the organization are in the range of 3 to 6 months, but mostly doing half year annual revision and updation to the strategy document. Uh, the table of content, this is the final presentation which was done to the board. We have the project context. why the change is needed. This is a strategy document for next 5 year. What are the ambition and the priorities for the business and the execution enablers? If you want to go for 5 year, what are the growth enablers? What is needed in terms of people, system, technology, processes? Because people, process, and system, these three are the key execution enablers. You will see them there. And then the financial impact and the roadmap. Yes, you have a 5 year plan. How look like the roadmap? So how now this is kind of a journey. Strategy is kind of a journey when you go for this exercise. Normally this exercise take in the range of 6 to 8 months, depending upon how you do it. But as Imran asked the question, some companies have their strategy process in-house. Some companies outsource to the big four, McKinsey and the Boston Consulting Group. So we engage with the PwC because PwC in this region at the moment they are the leading healthcare advisors. All the IPOs which are done in the Saudi market in the last 15 years, could it be Salman Habib, it will be SMC Hospital, Kingdom Hospital, all the IPOs were done in the healthcare by the PwC. We did a lot of due diligence, and PwC came as number one business partner in terms of the healthcare sector. So we engaged them. Imran, they provided us all the document and all the details. So this is how this strategy document was worth around 1 million real, close to 1 million real. We paid 1 million real, but we had all the objective evidence and the data and the sourcing, everything was there. We looked into primary and secondary research, around 20 plus research, 10 plus documents were reviewed, and then the interviews. This is very critical. The key interviews of the leadership team, 9 plus interviews was done. Dr. Adil Bashandi, he is the CEO of this division. Dr. Sameh Ismail, he is the head of the business development. I am the CFO. So Usama Ghamdi, he is our supply chain director. Ahmed Mahfouz, sales head. Muhammad Bustanji, he is the head of the technical department. Yasser is one of my finance team. Mahar. So these all are the key stakeholder, the major key position holder in the organization. So first of all, they started with the document review. They did a lot of research, and then they did the interviews, one-to-one interviews. They came up with a document. Okay, why the change is needed for this business? This business name is Anaya. This is one of our legal entity among many other entity. This is one of it. Why the change is needed? Now this is very important, and this is why many companies hire consultant and a big four for the strategy work. They will bring the helicopter view. So we are, just to give you a background in terms of the business, we are in the healthcare business, and we are in the healthcare consumable business. Healthcare consumable is like whenever you go to any hospital, las mahalla, like God forbid, when you go to any hospital for any visit, any visit to your physician, or any kind of a surgery, whenever if it's needed. So you go and you see all the staff is wearing the gowns that they wear, and this is consumable. By the end of the day, this get disposed of. The gloves that the staff they wear, all the surgeries that happen in the hospital, the surgeon will receive a surgery pack before the surgery operation, and there are different packs for urology surgery, gynecology, cardiology, nephrology. Different packs come as per the need of the surgery, and once the surgery is done, this get disposed of. So this is called as healthcare consumable business. When they started this, the first slide in terms of the strategy document is KSA consumer market is 11 billion, growing at the rate 6% annual growth, and the private sector is growing 7%, and by 2030 the annual CAGR is around 35%. See, this is the beauty, and this is the role of the consultant when they bring the data. There was a document of around 150 pages, and then they concise it to around 30 slides, 30 pages when it was presented to the board. And it was a process of 8 months, multiple interview, multiple discussion. First, we look into the whole market size, then going into the each market size. In the next slide, we'll see when we were going into the deep discussion into the business segment, new products, new geographies. One more thing we learned during this exercise, and this is very important. This was new for me as well. consultants advise, and then we also recheck with some other advisors in the market. They say whichever the business segment you go into, like in Saudi market, we know in the dairy market we have Al Marai, we have Safi Danone, and there are three other players. They say if you are not among the first 3 4 players in any category, you will not make money out of it. You may have a good sales, but you cannot have good profit and good cash flow. So in any nature of business, if you want to go to any segment, if you are not among 3 or 4 major players, which are 70 80% of that market, you will not make money. Better to leave that segment, go to another segment, and within one market there could be 20 different segments. So go into a segment where you are either among within the first 3 or 4 main players in the market, and you can make good money out of it. So they show the global market, how look like the global market, the MENA, the rest of the world, US and Europe. So this is credential data coming from Big Four, and all the references are given at the bottom. How is MENA is growing at the rate 4%, rest of the world is growing 9%, US growing 5%, and Europe is growing 6%. Then they show the KSA economy, how the KSA economy on the right hand side is growing. So the public sector is growing at the rate 5%, and the private sector is growing at the 7%. So first of all, they're giving you a helicopter view. Where are you coming from? Which market you are into? How the international markets are growing? And then and they're showing all apple to apple. Consumable market at the global level, consumable market at the KSA level. Then they will go deep dive into your segments. Now they said, okay, with respect to the which segment you guys are doing into it, now there are different segments. Some of them may be a little technical for you. I also learned during last 1.5 years, one major category in this business is healthcare, nursing and wound care. And then there is radiology, and then you have surgical, then you have IVF. So they show you the categorization. There is a growth of 8% in IVF, 9% there is a growth in CSSD. This is normally the patient care for the longer rehabilitation in the hospitals. There is an 8% in the surgical part. Radiology and cardiology is 8%, 7%. So we need not to understand this technical term, but they're showing you different segment. They're showing you different market. They're showing you how these different markets are growing accordingly. Then they took us to the next level, showing all the competitors in those segments, like in nursing, in radiology, in surgical consumable, in IVF, in CSSD. Who are the main players? And as I said, this was one learning in that slide. If you want to make any money out of it, and we all are finance partner, we advise our board, our C-level team to make money out of it. If you want to be any, for example, let's take one example of nursing and wound care. They said the MAD is one of the key player there. Tamar Munilik, one JV partner is there, and you have Nahara. These are the major players. These are the top 10 vendors within this category. Although there are 190 different vendors available, but this is a category you can focus on because there are lesser players comparatively. Your own positioning is good, and you can make money out of it. So as a concept, in any category, I have seen this in automotive, I have seen this in FMCG, and look at the bottling business like PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. They are the major player, and they are the one who make money. At times there are here and there different, until unless you have a niche in the market, very specialized, and then you can make some money out of it. Then they show you historical trend, how you are coming back from year 23, 24, 25, how your revenue is growing over the period, and then look at how the things have been moving. 7% you are producing. In business, you do some production, you do some outsourcing, you do some semi-finished good white labeling and yellow labeling. You bring some semi-finished items from China, you repack them, and then you go for a growth. Sometimes you are having certain challenges in terms of production capacity. As Ahmed highlighted, there is a business unit available in UAE, and they're just utilizing 30% capacity. They have a 70% capacity. It could be a win-win composition for both parties. You can use them. They can do your contract manufacturing, and you can grow your business, and you can have a proper NDA, proper contract. It will be a good position. Their capacity utilization will go up. We also know, like, whenever the capacity utilization for any business is below 70%, even sometimes even 70% is below 75, 80%, from 80% onward, you start making money out of it. We have just left with 4 5 slides, and then we'll again open for Q&A to take more of your input. Just few more slides. So then they also showed us a roadmap where you stand currently and then where you want to go. All of these building block was made for the year 2030. This business was 200 million and it will be 600 million by 2030. They're putting the things current state. If you look at the current state on the left hand side and then the future state financials, the business is around 200 to 235 million, growing 7%, 35% is gross margin, and 21 to 23% is net profit margin. The net profit margin also are very important. It varies from business. I have seen in the healthcare business, I have dealt with like manufacturing and distribution, FMCG, automotive. Like automotive is very good example. When we were selling the new car, BMW, Range Rover, Hyundai, Nissan, Ford, we just make only 5 to 7% profit selling of the new car. But the after sales, in all the mass cars means we call Hyundai, Ford, Nissan as mass, we make like 25-30% on their after sales maintenance. But once we talk about BMW and Range Rover, we are making 50 to 60% profit, net profit margin on their after sales maintenance. In healthcare maintenance, and I have seen few other players in the market, the net profit margin are in the range of 20% plus. Portfolio, then you look at what are your portfolio and how you can diversify your portfolio. Look into your current items, your trending in the business. This business, Anaya is at the moment providing their consumable products to all the government hospital across Saudi Arabia, Ministry of Health. NEPCO is one of the major buyer, and then all the leading tier level 1 hospital like IMC in Jeddah, Kingdom Hospital, Dr. Salman Habib, SMC, Dalla Hospital. All these hospitals are their customer and they provide them like 70 to 80% of their consumable business need. Now we are going to the more towards private sector, but earlier, first the more focus was on the public sector. Then we have around 25% business in the export market throughout the MENA. GCC, some part of Europe like Belgium, UK, and Switzerland. We have a good positioning in certain categories in Belgium since 1991 and within the whole Middle East from 1997 onward. So they advise us to diversify the portfolio. Look into the geographies you are saying. So look at on your 5 main building block on the left side. Financials, your portfolio, your geographic expansion and where you are today and how you can broaden your geographic footprint. Customers, which customers you are targeting. We were not very much focused on the private sector customers, but now we are focusing on more private sector because in Saudi Arabia, the government has a plan in the future to outsource healthcare services to more towards the private sector. That is why you will see the Salman Habib hospitals are coming here and there. They had around 13 branches few years ago. Now they are today 20 plus. And by 2030, they have a plan to reach around 37 branches. So the private sector is growing with a big number. Operating model. Fabric, we were more towards fabric, gowns and this. Now we are more towards the CPTs, customized procedure tray. We are looking into build scalable manufacturing, localized manufacturing, but we are doing a lot of outsourcing, bringing ready-made items from the market, and the business will grow from 200 million to 600 million, inshallah. And then I will show you also what are the growth enablers in the next slide. So this is how they put the things in perspective, going from where you stand and where you be in year 2030. Excuse me. Here it comes in terms of vision, mission statement. This is there in every strategy document where you are being the leading diversified consumer business and being in the local market, growth across the private and public sector, your mission statement, but at the same time, how you will go there, strategic priorities. Vision and mission is always very catchy and attractive. Increasing revenue across the existing segment, expand new consumable segment and the categories, diversify your customer segment. Like as I told you, we're going more towards the private sector and expand into new geographies. They advise us. Now we are opening to Iraq again. Iraq is getting stable over the period. Syria is getting stable, inshallah. We have started focusing on few more countries, Germany and France in the Europe. We are planning to go to the US, as Ahmed said a while ago. Like once this political situation get changed in US, we put a bit hold on the geographic expansion to the US. We were ready. We had raw material even procured and the production was going to happen. But once these duties and taxes starts coming into effect, we put a bit hold there. We focus more in the local market and within the MENA and Europe, and we said, let's relook at it, let's revisit our strategy before we go towards toward the US market. One more thing, I think most of the people here are from the KSA market. The pricing and the profitability in the KSA market is way better than some countries in Europe and US. So this is also one of the big thing, because all of us are time to time involved in the decision making process. So many companies from US and Europe, they come and they bring some healthcare consumable item, especially in the cardiology area and the respiratory part in Saudi market, and the prices are very high. So we are targeting those segments where currently the products are coming from the US and the European OEMs. We'll start building them here in Saudi Arabia. Very carefully, we selected those products and those categories where the margins are higher. But we did this together with our sales and business development team. Our finance team was very closely involved in validating all the information. This is what we are telling you. All of you, as you grow in your career and as you're growing in your career ladder, so you will be part of this strategy, and you will make sure any initiative that we agree must add value to the shareholders return. Now this is little technical, different segment, different market, how the categorization is growing and different area, little technical, but I just want to give you some concept. So they also advise us, this slide is very important. They gave us two areas like anesthesia and respiratory and hemodialysis. These are those segments where the products were coming mainly from the European market. They said these segments are growing at the rate, one sector is growing at the rate 30%, the other one is growing at 16%. Profit margins are very high. So we are establishing our production line in these segments. Growing public and private customer base, they advise us to grow the private sector more in the market. So we are very much focused on that part. Private sector in KSA market is growing. This journey has happened in US and Europe a few years ago, and KSA in the Middle East, they are doing the same thing. They are going more towards private sector healthcare businesses, and the government is slowly getting out of it. Government is going more towards the regulatory rather than being a key player in this part. Then they also showed the different geographies, different items, different countries. They showed that there are different items that you can sell in UK and Switzerland, but not all the items, only certain item. And which item, we worked very closely with them, with our partner, and we selected those those products that can be sold in the European market. Now, all this is there. We want to go from 200 million to 600 million plus over a period of next 5-6 years. What is needed so it can make happen? Because things will not happen. A company from 200 million will not become 600 million over a night. What is needed? What are the building blocks? What is needed to make it happen? Then they advise us, okay, you guys need to look into it. Local scaling the portfolio with the local manufacturing, and mandatory SKU are those SKUs which the Ministry of Health is giving more priority in Saudi Arabia from the healthcare perspective. So they said localization will unlock access to the mandatory and local content. So we are coming up with another factory, increasing the production capacity, looking into more regulatory compliance. NAPCO is one major player in the Saudi market in the healthcare. So we have more strategically connected with NAPCO. And then they also said the same journey, the Jumjum Pharmaceutical, Tamar, Monolith, and Maze have gone through recently in last few years. They went through the same journey. They look into it. One more factor they advise in this journey, the government is putting more pressure on pricing. So you need to be very careful in terms of pricing. Pricing will go down. So we kept that part also within our business case study and the strategy document. They also advise us about some quick win, because you have to fuel the growth engine. You have to fuel the capital investment which is coming in the line, execution gaps, what you need to do. Currently, we had a bottleneck, a limiting production capacity was there from a sterilization plant. Recently, we have procured that plant from France. It's on the way. By Q1, it will be up and running. So they also tell you about the quick wins, short term, long term, how you can better position yourself. And then the JV partner, as Emma said, we involved all the JV partner, our board, we brought them on the one page. We showed them all the visibility. As I said, this strategy document during the 3 to 4 months, the whole XCOM team worked on finalizing the document. There were 3 to 4 months it took us bringing all the board of director and the JV partner on one page, alignment with them, and then it get approved. And now we are in the execution phase. And every 6 months we have agreed with them. We'll keep updating, keep improving it, aligning it with the changes happening every 6 months, so it stay relevant and stay connected to the market. So they also advise few things in terms of some local partnerships, looking into operational efficiencies for performance discipline. For example, performance discipline was one of the area where we agreed we will not go to any product where the gross margin is below 30%. So as a performance discipline, so we agreed a kind of a framework within the XCOM and with the board of director. We worked with the PwC, but then we agreed with the board and the XCOM. We will not go to any product. So this is here the finance played a key role into it, and we agreed that finance has set a minimum threshold of 30% margin floor and is exiting low return SKU. We were having few SKU, they were not making good money out of it, so we started slowly getting out of it, and we started placing them with those items which produce more revenue and more profitability for the business. Now I will just show you one more slide and we open up the discussion. Once you have the final input, all the discussion. So the next few slides which are coming is a result of like 6 to 8 months of the work. How the revenue is changing over the period from 2025 where you stand at 235 million. Presenting your number is also very important. Look at this slide. Some of the slide will have few more words, but you'll see how the revenue is growing, what are the definition, what are the key building block, what it will become by 2031, it will reach 775 million. This is high level, how it's going there. Now, how it is coming, from which product it will go, from the revenue, from the new product, from the new geographies, and how it will reach 775. So revenue by product, revenue by capabilities, how much we will have the manufacturing in-house, how much we'll do the sourcing, white labeling, yellow labeling, manufacturing, and how we'll reach to the 775 products by capabilities. And then the market and the segment, how much in the domestic market, export market, public sector market, and looking at the whole the revenue stream in terms of the market. We have the P&L by product, by capabilities, by market and customers, and the cost analysis. Some of the things in the study you will have to assume at very high level, and we did that also. Like when you move to 775 million, which is year 2031, we assumed our raw material in our nature of business is in the range of 40 to 45%. So we kept within the same range, but based on objective data, we took a lot of information and data from the key market player, and we challenged multiple times to the PwC partners who are working on this study. So we took some of the industry benchmarking, raw material costs, the labor cost, because in our nature of business there is a lot of automation. Labor is a bit on the lower side, factory overhead, and then you have a gross margin around 37%, admin expenses, marketing and sales, and then you have a net profit of 22%. But this is over year 2031. Once you go year by year, you will see a different trend. So capex requirement, capex also, how much capex you need at one time, how much capex you need as maintenance capex, how much of the capex you will see in the some of the next slide, how much you will fund internally, how much you will fund. Look at some of the slide. We are trying to make it very easy, very simple for the XCOM, and then for the board of director, and then for the joint venture partner. So they were like the slide that you're showing, they were not done like the first time, but multiple revision, multiple update together with the team, then we reach to this level. And the roadmap showing it together, like from when is the sterilization plant coming, when we'll look into the second manufacturing site, organizational readiness, then looking at the export readiness, contracts, bank guarantees, values. So a very high level roadmap was done as well. And then they give you all the references in terms of where you are coming from, all the details. And this was a result of 6 to 8 months. Now, this is just one document I show you, which was presented to the board. If I show you the other document, this was, you look at 149 slides. The first one I just showed you is only 30 slides. So this was the one we made October 2025. And then once we made it for the board, then we made it like only 30 pages, 30 slides only, to make it more easily, more better understandable for them. So this is how the things look like. I will stop here, pause here, and then we are open for more discussion. Ahmed Daud. So Ahmed, some of the things I put it here basically, as you told, different organization, different structure, bringing it together, starting from the bigger picture. So if I missed anything, let me know, and then we go back to our audience.
No, 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 great, great insights and great examples. This is very much typical to what we do. So the overall, and this goes back to my point on the environmental analysis. When we say the environmental, it's not about ESG. It's all about competition, where the country operates, the global dynamics. So you covered it very much, very well, Zia. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ahmed. So now we are open for question. I think all those members who have any question, please raise your hand. We'll bring you to the stage, and let's have this. We still have 30 more minutes, and we want to make this best out of this session for all of us. Yes, Amar Bhatt.
Yes, Mr. Amir Bhatt, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum
Yes,
Assalam.
Yes,
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 Amar.
please go ahead.
Zia bhai, thanks a lot to give me a chance to speak, and thanks a lot, Mr. Ahmed Daud, to present a very good presentation and have a very live session and discussion on this important topic of strategy. Actually, I had a question or misunderstanding before, but I could not get a chance to speak before. Actually, you see, currently I'm working as a head of trading in one of the healthcare group in Riyadh since from last 5 months. Before that, I was working again in a listed healthcare big group in Jeddah, and I was heading the treasury function. And previously, I worked in some other companies. So what I realize and what I feel from strategy point of view that always most of the times what I perceive in my experience that always the vision and mission is coming from the board side. They are the one who are giving their vision and mission and their signals to the CFO and to the whole executive committee. Let's say, for example, I will give you some example. In my current organization, our board has given some target to the management that we want to achieve some revenue after 5 or 6 years, and we want to achieve this much net profit within a period of 5 to 6 years. So based on that, all vision and mission received from the board, the CFO in coordination with all the executive committee and chiefs has prepared a strategy document with the help of PwC. So same like what Ziabai has shared. I'm also from healthcare, so we have prepared one strategy document spanning for more than 5 years. So the main topic and main reason for that strategy document was that how to achieve a certain revenue and how to achieve a certain net profit over a period of 5 to 6 years. So PwC spent a lot of time on the same strategy document. They developed high level plans, same like what Ziabai has given. So everything coming from top to down. Let's say how to achieve that revenue. We are now changing. We are in a stage of implementing that strategy plan. Means we are changing our business model. We are planning to go to IPO. We are changing. We are constructing some new hospitals and some new clinics. So in my point of view and from my experience, what I have learned is that always or most of the times strategy is coming from top to down. But what you have given a statement before in your earlier presentation that now that time is coming that we have to change our strategy from top to down to from down to up. So I just want to understand like little further on this topic, so that how practically is it possible that we can go in strategy from down to up. Really, I did not understand. I'm sorry. I just need to understand something further.
Yes, Mr. Zia.
Yes. Ahmed, you would like to answer?
As you wish, and I can take it if you can
Go ahead. Go
add.
ahead.
Okay, so great point, Amir or Amir. It will always be the case of or the dilemma between shareholders and the management team. They will always add the pressure on you. And if you remember my point I mentioned, it depends on their style, their management style, their attitude, and so on, and the board as well. From what I have seen in my close to 30 years career, it is less likelihood that the management team will be fired because they didn't achieve a stretched target that has been set top down. So if your bottom up numbers that you achieved are missing their top down by 10 or 20%, but again, you are winning in the market the right way, the quality way, the effective way, they will be very much happy with you. So we try a lot to convince them, and we told them several times, guys, the targets you are putting on us is adding negative vibes in the organization. So people are feeling that they are not achieving it, despite the fact that we are gaining share, we are growing low double-digit number, but they will never change. So they will keep on trying to get the best out of you. So these are styles of boards, and it is a bit common within even the regions. Yani they talk to each other, they get insights from each others because they also are afraid from the budget slacks. So if you push back, you put sandbag and or you put low numbers where you can achieve high numbers, they will be missing the opportunity. So my only advice in this case, and it really works well, being transparent, and this will only come over time, Amir or Amir. So it will not come in a year or even 2 years. It will take time for them to trust that you are giving them the best that you can get. And again, don't forget, winning in the market across all the KPIs, commercial, operational, financial, is your key to get out of such situations.
One
Actually,
more
Mr.
thing.
Ahmed, Mr. Ahmed, what we see, everything related to finance and everything is coming after that, in alliance with that business plan. Let's say whatever we have business plan, we are preparing the budget based on that business plan. We are going into new markets based on that business plan. We are, opening new branches, new hospitals, new clinics based on that. We will go to IPO based on that business plan. So everything coming after that is in alliance with that business plan or strategy or whatever we can say, the vision and mission received from the board. So board is giving a high level plan from top to down. This is what my confusion, that how we can go from down to up. Really, this is a confusion I want to understand.
No problem.
Can I give you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead,
Ahmed,
please.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't think you will be able to do it. That's exactly my answer to you. My answer to you is not to try to change the top down. Is to try to convince your board, your shareholders, you are doing the right thing for this business, despite the high numbers they put for you. I will give you one simple example. 2 years back, I did not achieve the target for the 2 out of 3 main financial KPIs. You know what? Our bonus as a company was more than 100% because we convinced them, despite your targets, we were able to win in the market. Your targets cascaded down to us top down were not the right target set for us for this business. That's exactly what you have to change. You will not be able to, if they give you 100, you will never be able to convince them to give you 80 back.
So, Amar, one more thing, I think what Ahmed said is very well. These people who are your board of directors, they are also very well familiar with the business. As you, make sure they know business. Maybe they are very, because different boards talk to each other. In FMCG market, they know, like I know exactly how the Mars is growing, how the Mondelez is growing, how Godiva is growing. So they know this in the market. If maybe they put your business growth target by 20%, but the market is going only 11%. As you are from the healthcare, I put it there, like the PwC has presented to us, the government sector is growing by 5% and the private sector by 7%. Once we build the strategy, what we showed them in year 2030 and 2031, we took the NEPCO data. NEPCO in this part of the world, and Amar, you know it, like they are the
Yes,
one
I know.
who issues the tenders. So our revenue in year 2030 and 2031 is bottom up. Local market, private sector, the way it's growing, and the NEPCO from the tender and from those tender in which geographies we are. Then we went to the export market, we went into new geographies, we added like Germany and France into the European market. We did the revenue bottom up, but in terms of costing, in materials, some of the area may not be very relevant. We know the current baseline, we also work with the consultant and with the new products that we are going to develop. If once you are changing the product mix, your material costing is changing. Different products have different costing structure. Like the Laban costing structure would be different from the milk, from the yogurt. So because if you are going more towards milk and Laban, your costing structure would change versus yogurt. And then if you're going with the Greek yogurt, it's altogether a different world. So you have to go product by product. We build our revenue and profitability. Once the revenue was done bottom up, some of the other factor we did top down, some we did bottom up, but not all the factor in the future, as Ahmed said, would be possible to do bottom up. But if you make your board, now this is the part of the leadership team and the leadership. We recently established one business intelligence department, and the whole purpose is to bring the data from the market. Are we doing better than market, or we are below the market? If we are below the market, in which segment? Why we are not doing versus the market, and how we can improve? If your board takes care of this part, like this team knows the business, they are on top of the business, and they are doing all the right thing within their domain to take care of, to protect the market share and to grow the market share, then they are good enough always to accept, and they will give you a certain leverage, and they will
Actually,
always put you
Zabai,
a high target.
Actually, Zabai, I think I understand and I agree with you that maybe the overall strategy can be from top to down, but some of the main sub strategies or plans can be from top to down or down to the up. Yes, yes, I fully agree.
Yes. It's a hybrid kind of an approach.
Exactly.
Like Ahmed, even like sometime when you develop some new products are coming, and you don't know about those products, how successful they would be in the next year. And always, every year budget, every year annual operating plan will have new SKUs. You don't know about them. You can just put a best forecast, but every company would be launching new product and new SKUs. And there is always a 20-30% probability new SKUs will be successful. But if the market has 20-30% and your success ratio is more than 30%, your board will always be more than happy.
100%. It's a very much real life example.
Yes. Yes. Who is
Thank you,
next?
thank you, Mr. Amir. Uh, Before we go to the next one, there are some questions in the Q&A section. So let me ask that one first, then we will go for the next. Okay, this Muhammad Akram is asking, what is difference between vision and mission? Further, how these are fitted in the strategic management process?
Yes, Ahmed.
Yeah, so this is a very good question and a very critical question to the strategy formulation. So in a very simple, easy word or easy way, mission is why this company is exist. So for example, my company is one of the leading dairy products, dairy manufacturers. So this company is mission is to produce, sell, distribute, and market for dairy products. That's it. So in a very simple way, this is the mission. For example, Deyes medical company is to provide the high quality medical equipments products. I'm just giving example to the hospitals or to the health sector. This is the mission for any company. Vision is currently this company, my company is X% market share, focusing on dairy. In 2, 3, 5 years, I want to be the second player after Marai, for example. I want to expand instead of focusing mainly on milk, dairy, and yogurt. I want to expand in, for example, kids products, for example. So this is my vision. So my mission is to do the products, dairy, high quality. My vision is exactly where I want to be in 3 years or 5 years, for example.
So vision is more likely, which is more towards future, and maybe mission is where you are today and how you are doing your business as of today.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Okay, Shahid Mohammed is asking, to me, simply heart of any business strategy is how you create value, how you capture it into business model, and how you realize it. create value is strategy job. It is, I think, just a statement, not a question in this. Okay. What are steps
And this
involved?
is right, Hashim. This is what we are discussing.
Yes,
That is
yes,
why
we
the
have
finance
discussed this
has to
one.
be a key player in the strategy, because strategy is there to create a value for the shareholder.
Yes, of course. Okay, Mohammed Akram is asking what are steps involved in strategic management?
I think we discussed this once the strategy process is done. So first of all, the alignment, you need to have this document has to be very much relevant as per the market. Then it has to be governed very well, and then it has to be updated very frequently. These days, some companies are doing it on quarterly basis, but most of the companies are revisiting the strategy document at least twice a year.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
if you allow me here to summarize this in order to be clear for the audience. So the
Yes,
strategic
please.
the strategic process is simply starts with mission, vision, or purpose. What is the purpose? Where do you want to be? And then it's very important from this step to move into the second step. What are the short-term, long-term objectives? And then from the short-term, long-term objectives, you put the priorities and you start the execution and you monitor as you go in a very simple way. So purpose, mission, vision, short-term, long-term objectives, and then set your priorities, year one, year two, year three, execute and monitor as you go every year. This is a very much a simple framework for a strategy.
Okay. The next question is from Khan Afzak. He's saying, what are the important factors to keep in mind while formulating business strategy? Being finance people, our role is limited only up to a range of funds or part of overall strategy formulation. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this was the first point was the traditional way of managing the strategy. So in the previous world, the role of the finance manager or CFO, the chief financial officer, is to find the fund because financial is finance, finance is financing. So financing is two ways, whether through debt or equity. So this used to be the old style. Yes, we used to come at the end of the process. Everyone does his or her work. We agree on how much in capex, opex, investment, cash, and Mr. CFO how you will fund this. This was the old way. The new way, the CFO has become the financial plus transformation plus strategy officer. All of these are being in one role. He or she is being involved from the scratch, from the first step. Start analyzing or assessing or challenging the assumptions, challenging each and every capex, because at the end, if you have the statement of authority of your company, the last two to sign is CFO and CEO. When you sign, you don't only look at the financing assumptions. You look at the top line, middle line, and bottom line, and how you will achieve that. So the role of the CFO has really moved or transformed into being a holistic view, coordinating the process in order to ensure that we have quality sales, quality spend, quality return on investments, as well as at the end is the value to shareholders, like what I just mentioned now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have two questions from Muhammad Yusuf Ansari. First one is, how can finance leader balance short-term earnings pressure with long-term strategic opportunity operationally? And the second question is, when do cost-cutting initiatives undermine future adaptability?
Yeah, these are two amazing questions. And I like how you articulated the questions because they are both linked to each other's. You will always be at the desk of CFO. You will always be challenged to achieve short term on the account of long term. And I will be very honest and open with you. In so many situations, every year toward the year end, I come to this dilemma whether to spend and let go part of my net income or achieve the net income in order to get my annual bonus as well. So this will happen. but the only key issue that you are being judged in front of God, not in front of the shareholders. So think yourself, if the cost you are spending or you are cutting, the two ways is really impacting your future competitiveness and the continuity of the organization or not. This is one. If it is impacting the long term, you are not doing the right thing. But you need to be very open and very honest with the shareholders as well. They need to understand. They need to live with you. And this goes back to the discussion with Amir as well. On the top down, bottom up. Tell them, guys, I have something that is very critical for you for future. I need to spend 2-3 million riyals now in December. But this will help us to achieve in a year or two better competitiveness, for example. This is one. On the cost cutting, which is very much linked to what you just mentioned now. When you think about cutting any cost savings or cost avoidance, think about two or let's say three important dimensions or dynamics. Is the cost that you are cutting now will hold you from having competitive advantage in future or not? If the cost you are cutting is something that can be commoditized, is it a commodity? Is something that you and your competitive or your competition you both spend? Or the third thing is the cost you are cutting now is not essential for the business. So three important things. You are cutting cost that is creating cost advantage or competitive advantage in future. This is wrong. Goes back to the short term and long term. If you are cutting commodity cost, are you cutting it through productivity? So you are saving money or not? The third one, are you cutting cost that is not necessary for you to operate or not? For example, you are renovating head office with the high-end standards while the company is struggling to achieve 10% margins, for example. So the third one is the least important cost that you can cut. The second one, if you are cutting cost that is commodity, you are cutting it through productivities. For example, in a factory, in a plant, you are moving from diesel to electricity or solar power. So if you are cutting this cost, you are not doing the right thing for the company. If you are cutting R&D spend that will give you competitive advantage versus competition, you are doing a crime. So in a very simple way.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Okay, next question is from Mohammad Imran. Under the caption Business Strategy Mindset, when going for innovation and growth, what will be unique difference in applying innovation and growth elements in startups or previously established businesses?
Yes, I like that question. And this takes me back, if you remember, to the corporate business function strategy. So if you want to apply or to think strategically, you need to have the growth mindset. This is one. So what help you to grow exponentially instead of growing 10% like the market? What innovation, what renovation will take you to 20-30%? This is a very important dimension, but you have to study the market the way Zia has presented a couple of minutes back. The other important factor from a strategic lens, it's very important also to see hand in hand with the growth point I just mentioned now, how to grow exponentially, how to have the competitive advantage, because you can grow while having some sort of cost advantage, reduce your cost versus competition that will allow you to reinvent or reinvest in the market. So it's very important to think across all dimensions strategically, how to grow ahead of competition, how when you grow, have less cost, less spend, have more productivities in order to be able to fund this business and to have dual competitive edge versus competition. I hope this answered the question.
Yes, Ahmed, very well. Thank you.
Okay, one last question from the Q&A, then we will move to a couple of people if want to interactively ask the question. Muhammad Naeem is asking, what strategic initiatives and innovative approach will enable a trading business to not only survive, but thrive in the rapidly evolving market landscape of 2030? And what role will technology, sustainability, and adaptability play in driving growth and competitiveness?
So the word trading business is a bit tricky. I hope and I want more clarification on this type of business in order to be able to give a specific answer. But in general, if we talk about trading business, for example, retailer or FMCG like what I have, it's a very critical to have very much high focus on the offering. For example, the dairy business now we have it is a very much congested, very much busy business. So we have so many competition. I don't want to speak about my company, but Maraya is 50% of the market. I grew ahead of Maraya this year. The reason why I have more innovative products, leveraging the muscle of Danone International. So we started to focus instead of trying to fight with Marai on the shelf, very much tight shelf on the milk and lemon that is more than 50% of the market. I go focus on the value-added products. So less, for example, 000, less sugar, less additives, less blah blah blah.
And the
And I
margin will
start,
also be higher. And Ahmed, margin will
thank
also be
you.
higher.
I like what you just mentioned because when you move from traditional into value added, you will be able to mark up versus competition. Exactly. So this is on the innovation piece. Think about it in your business. Very important point in order to be competitive on the go-to market. I mentioned this before. Not only being innovative in the market, try to partner with the key players. For example, Panda used to be the biggest player in terms of retail. Now we have seen our same is growing. We have seen others are growing. It's very important to study what is happening in the market dynamics because Osim and others and even Panda, they are opening their e-commerce business, which Carrefour has started long time back. And now e-commerce is growing 3x and 2x every year. So what you do in terms of innovation is very critical, like I mentioned before, and also understanding the dynamics of the trade, win with the winners is also a very important strategy to focus on with partners. And by the way, customers, they like a lot that you knock the door, tell them, guys, I want to be your partner next year, even if I am a second or third player. So it's a very important win across multi dimensions, not only one dimension.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now we have almost consumed our time and we are moving towards the end. So there are two hand raises are there. I would request both of them to make your question brief and to the relevant to the topic. Please, Shahid Mohammed, please unmute yourself and you can talk.
Hello,
Mr.
hi.
Shahid Mohammed.
Hi, am I
Hi.
audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you are. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to be brief. Thank you very much, Ahmad and Zia, for the very interesting session. And actually, you touch upon across all the parts of the strategy development and plus execution. Just sharing my feedback and experience on that. We are from finance, so how we see the strategy from the development perspective and from like a, as you said, gatekeeper perspective. But there's another angle to this. If you interact with the board and the way that they see their investment is from the other side of the picture. So I had just put a comment also 1 hour back on value creation. So whatever strategy what we are doing, is it adding value for the shareholders? But we don't always comment and always put a number on that. Why it's important? Because from the experience, as part of the finance strategy development or finance contributing to this, we should put like what is your economic value added to the shareholder. Why it is important? Because I work in multi-country strategies, and where we are working on 12 companies strategy across every year. It's very important to just have your matrices, how your apart from the organic growth, how your strategy to develop the wealth of the shareholder. That's very important piece of it. It's now getting more and more attraction over last few years. It gives board opportunity to evaluate their money money is locked into the business and how it is grown. So that's something that, okay, fine, we need to evolve more as a finance and work towards more of it? What is your return on capital, invested capital? What is your economic, like enterprise value is growing with your business plan? Because there's not only a organic business growth, there's an inorganic piece and portfolio level growth. How much you are optimizing on weighted average cost of capital? Because this is all added to the wealth of shareholders and board. So that's something that I find it's being more evolved recently, and that's something as a finance and as a colleague, whoever is listening to this podcast should also focus on that. And that's one of the success part, because board is always interested in this. They are interested to see your, okay, how much market you will capture, how much headcount you will get, how much capex. This is all being there as a academic part of the strategy development, but growing their wealth is actually a real pinpoint which they are looking from their angle. So they just want to add that piece to this. That's it. Thank you, guys.
No,
Thank
no,
you for.
very well said, Shahid. And there are so many also different dynamics happening in the market. Yani I like what you just mentioned now. And also, I don't want to drift the discussion, but your point on the value addition to shareholders is very critical. And also this factor of having private companies versus IPO companies and what does this mean for the shareholders is becoming a very critical topic in a country like Saudi as well. So very critical, very well said, and I really appreciate that. One last point, because a couple of team members has mentioned sustainability, ESG, that we overlooked this. So sustainability, EFG is a very much integral part of the strategy, gentlemen and ladies. And we cannot put it aside because what is happening in the region from ESG, not only sustainability, not only plastic, not only water consumption, it's everything, even the social, the governmental aspect is a very much critical aspect to any company continuation in the market. So some companies, if they don't adapt to the changing regulations that is happening now, and 3 years from now, they may be out of the market. So we didn't have the chance to talk about ESG by itself or sustainability itself, but just wanted to highlight this because I have seen a couple of comments on that. Sorry, Muhammad, please go ahead.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Zishan, you can unmute it, please. Mr. Zishan Ali.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me a chance. And many of the question is already addressed, Alhamdulillah. Very good interactive session from Zia and Ahmed. Some of the question, if they allow me for his presentation. One is regarding the implementation of the strategy. Usually we got the document from the Big Four or some strategy companies. Is it advisable for the finance department to continue with them for the strategy implementation point of view and the financial validation point of view, or finance department should execute their own regarding the financial validation and the execution? And second, you point out very good point regarding the price competition in the industry, which is government is continue pressuring to reduce the price. But you mentioned you keep the target of the 30%. So how this moving strategy will be done if some of the product you have a huge quantity, but your product margin is declining. So how you will cater within your strategy? These are two practical questions if you kindly answer.
Yes,
Zishan,
Mr.
thank you
Zia,
very
I would
much.
like you to please answer.
Yes, Zishan, very good question. And you are right. The government is pushing within the KSA market, and government want prices to go down a bit towards the general public, and the private sector is growing. But as I said, in the same time, we have started building and sourcing, and the production will start soon for some of the SKUs which are coming today from the European market, and their prices are way on the higher side, and their bottom line margins are around 40 to 45%. Local product that we are producing, they are in the range of 22 to 26%. So we also very carefully with the consultant. So you can hire any big four, and that point is also valid. If your own sales, your own BD, your own finance team, these are the normally three teams which are leading the strategy work with the consultant. The BD, the sales, in some areas your operation team, and the finance always along with each initiative. So you have to see the market. Yes, there is some price pressure in the local. how to compensate that part. This is always a challenge with all of us being in the finance. So we selected some categorization. I think their revenue in the year 26, most coming from 27 onward, 1 year will take time in the establishment. We carefully selected some of the SKUs which are coming today from the European and US market, and the margins are around 40-45%. That will not only compensate the margin which is the current pressure is there for the government on the local product, but they will try to build kind of a buffer if there is any misstatement over here and there. And once you work with consultant, anyone, you have to be on your toes, you have to verify. That is why you pay value. All the consultant normally charge you in Saudi Arabia for any strategy work around minimum Saudi Riyal 1 million. So you have to take all the detail, you need to verify. And we are finance people, we always go with the objective evidence, verify it, check it in detail. And then what we have done, all the growth execution enablers, we have made some small teams, and those teams are leading it. Some of them are being led by the business development, and the finance team is part of his team. Some are being led by the operation director and finance. One of finance team member is part of that initiative. As a whole, CEO and CFO are responsible, CFOs being a true business partner. The board has advised CEO and CFO to be the owner of the document and to be responsible, accountable for all the actions.
Thank you, Ziya.
Thank you.
Zishar.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. The last raised hand is from Mr. Mohammed Naeem. Please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Mohammed Naeem.
Naeem, unmute yourself.
Mr. Naeem, can you hear us? Okay, I think he is away, I think. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Zia, Mr. Ahmed, for all the insights of the topics. We have learned a lot. At least myself, I have learned a lot from the insight what you have people have brought into this presentation and in this webinar. At the end, I would like to welcome Mr. Intizar Hussain Rana, the member of ICMA National Council and chairman of our Global Linkage Committee. I'm very thankful to him that he has spared his valuable time for us, and I would like him to please deliver the vote of thanks. Sir.
Thank you, Hashim. Actually, I should say thank you for this wonderful session. How you choose this topic, the business strategy mindset and adaptive strategy for tomorrow. On behalf of ICMA International, the KSA Branch Council, and National CPD, it's my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks. My sincere appreciation goes to our first speaker, Mr. Zia Mustafa, for hosting and presenting wonderful presentation. Topic was very interesting, and the way you presented your presentation, Zia bhai, and responded to the members, we wanted to listen you more. But the time is our constraint, and really, I was feeling I'm lucky, like I accepted the Hashim, and I was attending this session, and I wish we could have more time. So thank you, Zia bhai, for the insights, how they bring this strategy from mission vision to the soft analysis and the other, the market analysis, and then from the red ocean to blue ocean. You reminded all these strategies aspects, and this is really amazing and informative session from your side. And the gratitude is the memory of the heart. So that's why I am equally grateful to our guest speaker, Mr. Ahmed Daud, the CFO Al Safi, for enriching this session with the practical industry experience and real-world strategy wisdom. I think so. He touched upon all the practical aspects. He responded to the answer, in an amazing way and in detailed way. Like all the practical examples he gave. So hats off, Ahmed Saab. Thank you so much for giving us all these insights about this strategy. Again, I would also like to acknowledge the tireless effort of the ICMA KSA Branch Council, especially Muhammad Hashim and Siraj Saab, led by the, all the team, and especially Zia Mustafa Saab, again, the member, the member of the KSA branch, for organizing such wonderful session. So keep it up, Zia bhai and Hashim Saab. It was really amazing and wonderful session. To our participant also, thank you for being active and your presence and engagement always. The encouragement for us, your interest reflect the growing realization that adaptive thinking is no longer an option. It is necessary. Again, at the end of, session, I must want to recognize the effort of the head office IT team and Miss Hira. Like they engage with us and because of them, we were not able to conduct this session and like all the logistics support what they gave. So it is wonderful and sporting, and thank you, head office staff. Thank you, all of you, and all of your time, for your trust and for the commitment to the professional excellence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hira. Thank you, Shafiq, for all the supports. That's all from our side, and we will be online next week, inshallah, with another interesting topic of IPO. So you will get all the brochures and everything through the WhatsApp group and emails, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Assalamu
Ahmed.
alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ahmed
Assalamu
Saab, you want to say any closing remarks, please?
Yes, Ahmed.
No, just very, very enriched discussion. Thank you very much. Yeah, the organization was really amazing. I appreciate also the invitation, and there was a very big group of audience, and the good thing that I have seen the level of interactions as well. So the questions are very much high quality questions. Also, of course, the business case you shared, Zia, is very much comprehensive. Really appreciate that. And it was really a pleasure to be part of this webinar as well. Thank you very much.
Ahmed, thank you for joining, and we'll keep inviting you time to time, inshallah.
Pleasure always. Pleasure always. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Intizar,
you.
Hashim. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.